The Soulful Sounds of Derbytown. Well, joining us, he's a writer, a music historian, and now an award-winning author. Louisville journalist Michael Jones is shining a light on the deep roots of black music in our city of Louisville with his latest book, Soulful Sounds of Derbytown. Michael and 5 other authors put this together. And just this month, the book earned a gold medal for Best Regional Nonfiction and a silver for Best Cover at the Independent Publisher Book Awards, locally published by Butler Books. It's already making waves in literary and musical circles, and Michael is joining me here. I'm going to hold it up here while we talk. That concert that we just showed, Michael, that's a big part of the book. You bringing out some of the big names that really put Louisville on the map.
Yeah, that concert was actually where the name came from. It was a celebration of women, local women in music, and it was called Soulful Sounds of Derbytown. That was the subtext.
You've researched this so long. How would you describe Louisville's rich history of African-American music? And was it mostly focused on the old Walnut Street, which is now gone, now turned into Muhammad Ali Boulevard?
A lot of it was, but you have to think after the Civil War, Louisville was a very important town, and musicians always said Louisville was a money town, especially because of the Derby. So we were on a circuit. If you were working your way up to Chicago or Indianapolis, you know, you would stop in Louisville, and we had the connection in New Orleans. So we had a lot of connections to a lot of music hotspots.
What was it about our community that was so giving and enriching? Why were black musicians able to survive at a time when our country was still torn apart racially?
Well, I think partly it's because, like I said, there were influences everywhere. And also, you know, the bourbon industry, you know, I wrote about jug bands. And so they were promoted by bourbon companies. And also there are a lot of riverboat parties, a lot of hotel parties.
It was a wild river town.
Yeah.
What, if you had to name one artist who stands out to you, who would that be?
Probably Sarah Martin, because she is the most. She grew up in Smoketown. And she was one of the early singers to record. They call her one of the classic blues singers. We think of like a guy with a guitar, but the classic blues singers were actually female singers backed by jazz artists. And she was kind of a recruiter. Sylvester Weaver, the guitar player, also from Smoketown, she and he recorded the first vocal and guitar accompaniment on record, and she also recorded the first jug band tune, and she was the first to record Ain't Nobody's Business If I Do.
Oh, so are you telling me that Louisville was like a mini New Orleans almost? It's sort of surprising.
Yeah, that's Sarah. And
that's Sarah. Look, I opened the page right to Sarah. that's amazing.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that, you know, the story of American popular music is straightforward, like jazz started in New Orleans, but you had musicians from Louisville and Cincinnati and St. Louis going back and forth, and they were bringing culture and taking it away.
Well, let's talk about what's coming up for you. Later in June, just this month, you're going to be signing this book at the Kentucky Book Festival, which has been around a long time, but it's going to be in Louisville this year.
Yeah, it's I think the first time it's been in Louisville. It's going to be at Paris Town Point. And so we're going to be there, and
that's June 14th.
June 14th.
And then KET is
your
book.
And July 15th, our book signing was filmed by Kentucky to the World, and they're going to start showing it in July on KET, which is Black Music Month.
All right, I see all these stickers. Those are the awards for Michael.
Those are the awards.
Thank you so much for coming in. I love the rich history, and you always bring it alive. You've worked for years on this, and he's still at it. Thank you, Michael Jones, journalist here in town. Great book, The Soulful Sounds of Derbytown.